What's good? Marshall here, and today I got a video from Linus and Luke. They just dropped this today. It's called Tech Names Are Becoming Ridiculous. I couldn't agree more, and I'm pretty excited to see what they have to talk about. They just dropped this, I think. No, they just dropped this today, so it's gonna get pretty interesting. As usual, please click that subscribe button. That gives me the most motivation to keep going, other than self-motivation. Leave a comment with what you might think. I couldn't agree more with you guys, and I probably won't be able to agree more after the video either. But let me know what you think. All right, let's get into it.
Let's talk instead about Wi-Fi 7. JK, Wi-Fi 6,
Psych.
Release 2.
Nice. Version 4.
Yeah,
That
part's
so
not true.
there's some notes here. Wi-Fi 6 adoption has outpaced previous generations. I mean, that's easier when you just redefine everything as Wi-Fi 6.
Basically, I mean, honestly, if you're going to release something that's going to be as significant as like upgrading the Wi-Fi in your device, just say like you're rebranding. Like for the iPhone, it's not like it's not that difficult. You guys are gonna buy it anyway. It doesn't matter what specs they put in it. I think the iPhone 13 has Wi-Fi 5 or Wi-Fi 6 already before they even dropped it. So that's saying something for you. So
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Wi-Fi Certified 6 Release 2 is the latest certification from the Wi-Fi Alliance. It supports uplink multi-user mobile input output, multiple input output, so multi-user
Nice.
MIMO,
Okay.
which means it'll have like better support for more Wi-Fi 6 devices entering the market because they'll have more of them connected to APs at a time, and it'll help balance them.
that's good. For things actually
Supports
designed
new
for
low
Wi-Fi
power
6.
and sleep mode enhancements, including broadcast target wake time, extended
Okay.
sleep mode, and dynamic multi-user spatial multiplexing power save.
So that basically means that if you're just like your computer, if you put it in away mode or if you put it in sleep mode or whatever, it's not going to use as much power as it would if it was turned on, but it's still going to be drawing power so that you can instantly wake it up. The same thing is going to be applied to, it seems like, the Wi-Fi with Wi-Fi 6, where if you're not using it, it's not going to draw power from your device to keep it constantly on looking for Wi-Fi or whatnot. So that's pretty cool.
Wow. Sounds honestly.
That's a lot of words.
This is that whole thing where like the difference between a sufficiently complex science and magic is indistinguishable. That honestly is just Wi-Fi in general for me. Like some of the stuff it does where it's like, yeah, okay, so I can have like these spatial streams and this one's like direct and this one's gonna bounce off the couch and like hit the ceiling and go there. So I need to make sure
I never
time this
understood
transmission
that.
so that they're all gonna arrive at the same time. Like, what?
that.
Anyway,
I really still don't understand
Release 2's
that.
features apply across all the supported bands, so that's 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz, and 6 gigahertz.
That's
And
good.
Wi-Fi 6 Release 2 is more of an enhancement for Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 6E, not a replacement for them.
Okay.
So now we've got the USB mess, we've got the HDMI mess.
Wait. Does anybody know what HDMI or USB mesh they're talking about? And I think they're gonna bring
And
up
we've
their-
got the Wi-Fi mesh.
Mesh.
Okay, here we go. Oh, the mesh. No. Wait, they have a USB mesh?
And we've got the USB mess, we've got the HDMI mess, and we've got the Wi-Fi mesh.
Mesh.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no way you can mesh USB. Are they saying mesh or mesh? I have no clue.
I've got so many merch messages, it probably wouldn't even matter. I could just carry the whole show. Yeah.
It's painful. It's painful, man. I just don't know. I don't know what to say. Like honestly, the HDMI one in particular. So if you guys haven't been paying attention,
No, I
HDMI
haven't been, clearly.
2.1. Oh shoot, no, it's HDMI 2.1A now. So first,
2.1.
they retconned HDMI 2.0. All HDMI 2.0 devices
Yeah,
and
please tell me.
2.1 devices became HDMI 2.1.
Okay, so I think what he's trying to say is like the difference between like high-speed HDMI cords and just literal regular Amazon basic HDMI cords. He's saying that basically by putting a gold plate on the tip, you can say that it's a 2.1 just because it looks fancier or because it's gold plated, when in fact the Amazon basic cord could probably do the same thing. I don't know. I think there is, and I'm pretty sure there is still a difference between 8K and 4K HDMI cords. But at that point, I mean, especially if you're running something on a computer, you might as well just use a DisplayPort.
Now they've retconned that, and they are all HDMI 2.1A, and then all of what we previously understood to be the features of 2.0, 2.1, and 2.1A, which do actually, according to the old way of thinking, have unique features to them. All of those are now considered to be optional features of the new consolidated HDMI 2.1 spec. This clearly serves absolutely no purpose whatsoever other than to help unscrupulous manufacturers deceive consumers.
It's branding. Exactly. And that's exactly what I was talking about. The Amazon Basics $12, $10, probably $8 freaking cord will do the same thing as a gold-plated cord. But because it's gold-plated, you can sell it higher and tell people that it's a higher speed cable, when in fact it's basically all the same.
That is the literal only possible reason that this can exist.
Yep.
That's it.
Completely.
And the craziest part is it's at the point where I've had manufacturers that don't like this reach out to me and go, do you know anything about this? Like, are we seriously going to have to certify HDMI 2.0 ports as HDMI 2.1A, but only supporting 18 gigabit per second transfer rates, so they can't do 4K 120? Like, is that actually how this works? Do you have any idea what's going on right now?
See, that's exactly what I was saying. That's crazy. I'm gonna actually rewind.
Is that accurate to certify HDMI 2.0 ports as HDMI 2.1A, but only supporting 18 gigabit per second transfer rates, so they can't do 4K 120? Like, is that actually how this works? Do you have any idea what's going on right now?
No one does. No one does. And that's why we buy that shit. I mean, that's why we buy it. No one knows what's going on besides the company. And even they are just putting it out there because we're gonna freaking buy it. For the love of God, on the back of my router, my Verizon Fios router, it literally says certified Wi-Fi 6. So that means that not only am I gonna feel more comfortable in the security of, I don't even use Wi-Fi. Well, I guess I do. Obviously I do. Not everything's plugged into my router, but I'm gonna feel more secure in using that router over the Comcast router, mainly because my Comcast router, which I've used before I got Verizon, did not actually say certified Wi-Fi 6. Which none of it matters to me because most of the Wi-Fi is gonna be done on the smart devices. None of my gaming stuff, so I could really care less about the lag on that, like my Google Home and stuff like that. I really couldn't care less about the lag on that.
And to give you an idea of why this is so stupid, there's devices where it might not be that meaningful. Okay, so something like an Xbox Series X, right? In terms of the understood functionality, I think this is a gaming device where I think people are going to look at the spec sheet. They're going to go, okay, it supports 4K 120.
Bro, this is exactly what I'm talking. He's literally about to say the same thing that I was just saying, but about an Xbox.
Does it do 8K 60? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. The point is it does 4K 120, right? And so they're going to know to look for that. But let's take something like an Apple MacBook M1. The MacBook M1 is only HDMI 2.0, which was a point of contention with the computer community as a whole because they were like, oh, hey, that's actually not very future-proof in terms of connecting external high-resolution displays to this thing. That actually kind of bites. And so now, all of a sudden, when Apple refreshes the M1 MacBook, even if they don't update that HDMI port to support greater bandwidth, it will still now magically be the MacBook with HDMI 2.1a. It's going to be so confusing.
Yep.
I mean, it was already confusing enough, right? When you had HDMI ports that only did 4K 30 hertz, right?
Yeah.
Back during the transition from
That was
1.4
actually
to
pretty
2.0,
rough.
it was really rough.
Yeah.
It was really rough. You had to really dig into the spec sheet or even ask the manufacturer something. Hey, is this 1.4 or 2.0? Well, now there doesn't even exist terminology to properly find out what's going on. Okay, there does. But I can't even remember what it is. I read an article about it the other day. It's some type of signal encoding that you have to ask if it supports so that you'll know if it'll do up to 48 gigabit per second.
Is he talking about ways to ask the clerk if it's 2.0 or 1.4?
And the craziest part is you can even have devices that support that type of signal encoding. Like LG had their, what generation was it? Was there the 1 series or the X series? I think it's the 1 series. But they had a generation of TVs that didn't support the full maximum bandwidth of HDMI 2.1, even though it supported most of it. I can't fathom how we think that moving backwards and making spec names not mean anything is helpful in any way whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm getting a little
Worked
passionate
up?
here.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
I'm
everybody
pretty
is.
Sure we've actually been
Everybody
talking
is.
about this type
I'm
of
pretty
name scheme
sure.
problem on Wayne shows.
I
since it
am.
started.
So what you're saying is it's not getting better.
No, it's potentially getting
never
worse.
Gonna get,
I don't
exactly, it's
know.
never gonna get better.
This,
It's always
this
gonna
last
get
year
worse
has felt
just
really bad
because
because of the
how
big three that you
freaking
just talked about.
how much of a
I feel like it was
sheep
actually
we are.
maybe getting a little bit better in kind of the middle there, but recently
Myself
it's been really
included.
taking a downturn.
This video here we just watched yesterday, and that's up on the channel. So please subscribe, leave a comment. We're gonna watch, and our next video on the channel is gonna be the appeal denied for LAPD officers who ignored a robbery to play Pokemon Go. That's definitely gonna be funny. I got some. I think I got a video. I'm gonna read this here, and then in that same video, I'm also going to talk about the top 5 gaming chairs of 2021 and some games that are free this month in January for Prime Gaming. So yeah, drop a subscribe, leave a comment, share the video. I'll see you later.